You followed the training, you've built the skills, and you became the therapist. But now you're wondering, is this it? Beyond the therapy room is where we have the conversations most therapists are thinking, but not saying out loud. There's Skye, psychologist and mentor, and Ally, counsellor and tantric healer, bringing two perspectives, clinical and intuitive, structured and expansive. We talk burnout, identity, spirituality, business, relationships, and what happens when you stop playing by the rules that you were trained in. This is for the therapist who knows there's more. Two different paths, two different perspectives, but the same truth. There's more available to you than the box you were trained in. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Therapy Room, where today we're going to ask the question, does burnout happen because we care too much or because we've forgotten how to care for ourselves while caring for others? So today, Skye and I, we don't want this just to be another discussion about how important self-care is for therapists, because we've all heard that before, right?
You don't want to hear it again?
On repeat. No, we want to go a little bit deeper, and we want to talk to anyone working frontline with other human beings.
Yeah.
This is a huge calling upon us, to support and encourage and inspire or uplift one another as a human race, right? It's one thing to do that in your personal life with your friends and your family, but if that's your paid employment as well, we're being asked to carry quite a lot, to connect quite a lot, aren't we?
Yeah, and to hold
Yeah,
quite a lot.
yeah. So I recently myself have been through a period of what felt like burnout. And I think, it's very easy to immediately start thinking, oh no, I'm not good enough, I'm a bad therapist, I can't sustain the work that I've, trained to do, and language it in a negative way for ourselves.
Self-deprecating, right?
Yeah. But I chose not to do that this time.
No.
So I did that last time I reached this point in my professional development journey. Last time I felt like I'd reached vicarious trauma in the community services sector. I'd worked with so many people with histories of trauma that I did. My compassion had gone. I became cynical and I just didn't feel like myself.
Yeah.
So I left that field and started my business. But this time I felt and saw the signs of burnout coming a while ago. And when we know about things like vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue and burnout, we're better able to spot it in our colleagues, I believe, sometimes than we are even in ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to hear a little bit from you, Skye. Like, have you ever hit what you would call a burnout or a compassion fatigue kind of period in your life where you felt like your nervous system was just kaput and you couldn't keep going and things were just too much? Anything like that.
I think there's two things. Like, one is that I feel like I go through different seasons, and if you follow along with me in my business, where I do kind of hit like just this burnout of like how much I'm giving or what I'm focused on or what I'm doing, and then I kind of switch gears and then I do something else. But I think with ADHD too, I feel like because I'm all in all of the time, that when I burn out, people tend to notice because then I'm all out all of the time and I kind of go MIA for a little while.
So it's like an all or a nothing, whereas for me it's more of a gradual thing. I don't just go from being on, switched on and functioning, to I can't anymore. It's like I'm noticing this gradual change in how I'm showing up each day. So it sounds like it's quite a clear on or off for you.
Yeah, so I feel it's very distinct. And so if I'm on, I'm like, I'm into it and I can do everything and I've got huge capacity and it's like, go, go, go. And I'm like, I'm just so into my work. Whereas otherwise I'm very disconnected and very, lapsy-daisy, and I'm unorganized and I don't care as much and things aren't happening and I don't get that, that kind of like push to like get the shit done.
Yeah, so your discoverer part that I mentioned in another episode, the doer part of you,
kind of hibernates.
Just needs to tap out for a bit.
Literally. Yeah. And I notice I get very irritable, angry, want to be by my, like very self-isolating when I get burnt out.
Time to retreat.
It's time to retreat.
Yeah.
What about you? What are the signs that you notice?
For me, I like my passion fades, my joy fades, my enthusiasm to come into the office might fade.
Yeah.
I'm starting to carry more of the client load or mental load home. I'm just feeling in general like a little bit more tired than usual. Maybe I'm not socializing as much with my colleagues and going back to my own room for lunch. Like there's sneaky little signs. But I could spot them. Like I spotted them in myself this time round, a good 6 months before I decided to lighten my client caseload. And I think, I always come back to, availability doesn't equal capacity. But I think I had, my books were full, all days in the clinic were full. Yeah. And it was less space for, I don't know, just like me, I guess. Because when I'm not doing frontline, clinic work, I'm still case noting, invoicing, collaborating and correspondence behind the scenes. But when I'm not feeling like that slow exhaustion creeping up on me, all of that I'm still excited about. Yeah. So it's noticing those early warning signs, I think.
I think too, I don't know about other people, but the sneaky wine and maybe the whole block of chocolate or I just noticed that it's like that numbing or that avoidance shows up too. And for myself, and I know other therapists I've talked to, when burnout starts to creep in, it's like we hear, and like you said at the beginning, we hear all this stuff about self-care and go to the gym and eat healthy and all of these things, which are great in theory. And then though, the things that I want to do is the opposite of that. It's like, I want to fucking eat a block of chocolate in the dark, watching crime shows by myself. I don't want to be with no bitch at the gym walking. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like the opposite of what we seek is what we need. Yeah. And I feel like that kind of happens in burnout, is that we tend to kind of go to all of those short-term things because there's just nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, the vices that are sustaining us.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a way to language it's a negative thing. I think whatever it is, whether it's a chocolate or a wine or, sex with your partner, whatever, like we all have our vices or our crutches that we lean upon that help us through periods of our lives where we feel like we're not coping very well.
Kind of lean on a bit more heavily, don't we?
Yeah, and that's okay. Let's not poo-poo on them.
No, I'm a regular user of chocolate to feel better. Like, this is about information. It's about learning the way that burnout shows up for you. Because like Ally and I said, like it's different for each of us. But if we can be mindful of that, then you're going to be able to get in quicker, like you said, second time round for you to actually do something.
Yes.
I know a lot of women in particular, but I also men, but it's like the word busy. Like if you start using the word busy more.
Rushing?
Yes.
Like stress and rushing.
Yeah.
And that's because, let's come back to the basic fact of the matter here, is as clinicians, we are constantly emotionally regulating ourselves, right? And that in itself can feel quite exhausting. Yeah. I think this is what we need to consider when we are thinking about why does burnout happen. We're having to actively listen so deeply to the people in our room. We're providing this beautiful quality of presence and emotional attunement and co-regulation. And all the while, we're also monitoring and observing ourselves. How am I sitting in the chair? How is my facial expression to them right now? And we're tracking and marking so much, aren't we? We're just switched on, and it takes all of our conscious presence and awareness to hold that space with our people. And I think that in itself is a huge emotional and mental labor. And unless we have enough space or time to be recovering or, shaking it out somatically, debriefing with colleagues and really processing that ourselves, it can accumulate over time. So that's what I found for me. It was a slow accumulation over time. And with that, as we're personally growing as well, the way in which we use our vices or our healthy coping mechanisms is continually changing as well, isn't it? So where years ago for me, I might have sat and meditated at the end of each day or journaled. That's not working for me at the moment. I'm needing to approach how I organise myself in very new and different ways. Maybe talking to my best friend helps me sort through things I'm carrying better at the moment. So it's letting your approaches change as you change too.
The thing that you just highlighted there, Ally, was that our focus, especially as health professionals, is on everybody else. And in the room, that is, yes, we have an idea of ourselves, but it's more about the other person's need. But for me, it's burnout has come not always about how much I'm holding, but it's also come around not giving myself permission to shift gears into the new season. And I think, I don't know about for you, but I feel like a lot of therapists, health professionals, what we do is we get burnout. We're like, okay, I'm going to have 2 weeks off, and then I'm going to come back, but then you're doing the same thing, and then you burn out again. And because sometimes those self-care practices outside aren't just what you need.
Yes.
Sometimes it's also checking in with, is the way I'm currently doing my work still serving me? Am I still working with whatever it is that I'm doing that lights me up? Am I still passionate about one-on-one? Do I want to do something else?
Yeah, and this is why we have this podcast, because sometimes it is that you're reaching this point of fatigue because your passion is diminished and you're ready to, like, this is what I really noticed in myself.
Yeah.
Is while I'm great at one-on-one, actually there's a teacher in me who's wanting to be birthed and a guide in me who wants to support the people doing the frontline work.
And the creative part of you.
Absolutely. I get so fired up when I get to do a new project or create with my friends. Yeah, so that's a great point you bring up, Skye. Like, if your work is not firing you up anymore and you're not feeling passionate about it, maybe it's not burnout, maybe it's pivot time.
Yeah, literally, right? But then it feeds straight back into us feeling guilty a lot of the time as health professionals around maybe ending sessions with clients, or pivoting, or shutting down one business and starting another, or income changing, or whatever the new might be.
Yeah. It's scary too. Like
100%.
I've had to move through all kinds of fear around income loss, around, again, guilt of passing clients on to other clinicians. And sitting, like, I'm good at sitting in uncertainty because I do have a lot of self-trust and confidence in my abilities to be creative or to reinvent myself and my offerings.
Yeah.
But yeah, you move through so much in those growth phases, or the birth and rebirth phases. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Be mindful too for people who are in 9-to-5 kind of jobs, or you're an employee working with other people, that it might be like years ago you've done the same thing, Skye, where we're just outgrown the systems, the policies, the procedures, and we're not able to be innovative in the way we're supporting other people. There's systems barriers, or there's limited funding in what you're allowed to do and how you're allowed to do it. Is that what making you feel a bit of burnout or fatigue in your job?
And that, again, I think, Ally, a lot of the time links into like that sense of like being overly responsible or focusing on what you can't control in a lot of these environments.
That's right.
And so you get very caught up in what's not working versus where do you have the power to make change, or to, bring about like giving to people.
Yeah, because making those changes might incorporate having some really clear boundaries. If that organisation you're working in isn't in alignment with your values, but maybe going into business is there, are there certain relational boundaries that need to happen for you to perform within your passion or in your greatest way? And I know that's something you've had to continually come back to and grow, more and more confidence around expressing with others. But for me, whether I was in a paid job or in my own job, making sure I do take my lunch break. Don't just fill my day with client sessions.
It's the fucking boundaries screaming at us, right?
Yeah, so that boundary for myself is, no, I don't have to have a full day. I've got an hour or 2 hours for lunch, making sure I take my holidays or, a period of leave for a few weeks, as you say.
Telling the kids you're going to drop them off at school 10 minutes early so you can get that coffee on the way to work, or have 5 minutes in the car park to breathe. Like, it's all of those little micro moments throughout the day where we can alleviate some of this level of burnout, right?
Exactly. Maybe there is a client intake that somebody's asked you to take on, and a referral, and it's not a fit for you. It's okay to say no to that. It's definitely okay to say no to that. And it's sometimes, like, I found it difficult, that people pleaser part of me. That's the one that shows up when it's time for me to set a boundary with someone, or maintain the boundary that's already been set. Because it's one thing to say it once, but we might need to continually come back to the same person over the same thing and maintain that boundary. And I used to worry about upsetting the other person or making them have a feeling because I had a boundary.
I think one of the things that I did, Alan, but I got, because I'm very visual, so I got a piece of paper and I literally wrote down when it came to like my work, like what are all of the things I'm saying yes to and what are the things that I'm saying no to. And when I was in burnout, I realized that I was saying a lot of yeses to the things that I didn't want to necessarily do or that weren't lighting me up or that were taken from me. And I was saying no to a lot of the things that I actually wanted to fucking do.
I love that. It's like a stock take, hey?
Yeah, literally. And I think sometimes doing that stock take can help you see how you've ended up in burnout.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a self-review, you know, we're all talking about reflective practice.
Yeah.
Sometimes we might need to just do that internal review of what's functioning and what's not.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, the series has ended on Netflix, people. We're up to the next season, but we haven't pressed play yet.
I love that. So sometimes maybe coming back to some of those core questions in what was your why in becoming a therapist or in supporting people within your community? What drove your passion originally?
And also too, like, how has it changed?
Yeah.
Because for me, it's changed too, and it's giving permission for that to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more to that? Like,
well, when I first became a therapist, my sole focus was on, I want to work with people so that they can see that they're enough.
yeah.
Right, and so that they get to embrace who they are, and obviously the name of my business, like, be uniquely you, like embrace all of the parts of who you are. And while that is still a very core theme of who I am, I've kind of morphed now into I actually want to work with therapists and health professionals and the people doing the work so that if they can like who they are, then that can be passed on to the people that they're helping. So then I can help more people. And so it's just kind of grown from there. And I think with burnout, we're not giving ourselves permission to grow beyond what we currently imagine ourselves to be doing.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, a lot of my why is around someone's relationship with themselves, that being the foundation for all of our other relationships. Like if I can see in someone a little bit more self-acceptance or self-love or self-honoring, it's a beautiful thing. And that's what keeps my passion alive for wanting to help other people.
So what are your thoughts, Ally, before we finish up? Like, what are the things that if somebody's listening and maybe they're not in burnout or maybe they want to prevent it from happening again, like what are the things that they can take away and start to be more mindful of, do you think?
Yeah, well, that regular check-in, as you just mentioned, a bit of a stock take. What's working, what's not working? Where am I noticing these like indicators that I'm not feeling as joyful or passionate about the work that I do? Come back to some of those preventatives. Make sure you're debriefing with your colleagues or having peer supervision, clinical supervision. Maybe there's new training you want to do that helps you feel more confident. Resting, taking those healthy breaks.
Yeah, I think for me, I know some people like, I need time out from everybody because it's like I can't hear my own brain, even though it's really fucking mad. It's a weird sentence, but
yeah, solitude.
Yeah, I need time by myself to just check in too, right?
Yeah, celebrating all the small wins as they're happening. Sometimes we just keep going. Like there's this soldier in me that just keeps up and gets up every day and keeps going and keeps functioning. But I think celebrating or having things in our calendar to anticipate really helps balance out some of those times when we're over functioning too.
I think what you just said too, like acknowledging a new season, because a new season might not just be about like you want to do something different with work. A new season, like maybe you just got married, or maybe you've got a little human, or maybe someone's just passed away, or maybe there's something going on with your health. Like acknowledging the season outside of work too, that can absolutely impact on burnout in work.
Exactly, like perimenopause.
Oh, don't fucking get me started. That's a whole nother episode.
and with that, how is this changing season for you as a professional? Maybe you do need to start diversifying your work or stepping beyond the therapy room so that you can accommodate
shaking it up a bit,
your personal life in that.
Yes.
So don't forget that if you really love today's episode, feel free to go in the links below and download that reflection guide so you can dive a little deeper in your own self-reflective practices today. And join us in the next episode
of Beyond the Therapy Room.